Listen to me. Right now. Stop scrolling. Put the phone down. Lock the door if you have to. Because what I'm about to walk you through is not a story. It is not a headline. It is not a hot take. It is a forensic map of an active, in-motion, multi-million-dollar cover-up unraveling in real time, on 3 continents, in front of every single one of us. And almost nobody is connecting the dots out loud. I am about to connect them. Every single one. On record. With my name on it. And if I am wrong about even one piece of this puzzle, you can come back to this video and roast me in the comments. Bookmark it. Screenshot it. Timestamp it. I am betting my entire credibility on what I am about to tell you, because the woman at the center of this case does not have a voice anymore, and somebody has to refuse to let them rewrite her ending. Her name was Ashley Jana. 4 days after her birthday. 4 days after the ring went on her finger. 11 hours of fighting in a foreign hospital bed with no one she loved holding her hand. And while she was bleeding out on another continent, somebody, somewhere, was already drafting the press release. That is where this story actually begins. Not at the funeral. Not at the autopsy. Not at the exclusive. It begins in a room you have never seen, with people whose names have never been printed, deciding which version of Ashley Jana the public would be allowed to know. And tonight, I am dragging that room into the light. Let me give you the picture first, because if you do not see the architecture, you will keep falling for the choreography. There are 7 players in this game. There is a hero, and her name is Ashley. There is a narrator, that is me. And I am not for sale. I have never been for sale. And the people who have tried to buy silence in this case picked the wrong creator to start with. Then there are the villains. The fiancé with the 11-hour silence. The lawyer ghostwriting press copy in the voice of a grieving man. The publicist running a war room out of a hotel suite. Drafting the next Twitter letter while a casket is still warm. A media giant that has, allegedly, been hired as a stenographer instead of operating like a newsroom. A pile of crypto and hedge fund money that absolutely cannot survive a scandal of this size. And an online SME army that will eat any narrative thrown to them as long as it lets them feel righteous on a Tuesday afternoon. 7 players. 1 operation. 1 target. 1 truth. Let's break it down. Ashley flew to paradise with the man who put a ring on her finger. 4 days. 4 days is all she got. We are not talking about a couple who had been engaged for a year. We are not talking about a woman who had time to settle into the news. 4 days. The shimmer of the diamond had not even worn off. And in those 4 days, somewhere between the beach photos and the hotel keys and the room service trays, a sequence of events began that the people running the cover-up are praying you never put in order. So I am going to put it in order for you. Tonight. Right here. Slowly enough that even the trolls in the comment section can keep up. Day 1 of the trip. Smiles. Pictures. Public posts. The version of the story they want you to remember. Day 2. Quieter. Fewer posts. Already a shift. If you go back and look at the timestamps with the eyes of someone who has watched this exact pattern on 3 other cases. Day 3. Almost nothing. And by the time we get to day 4, the pictures have stopped, the captions have stopped, the love language has stopped, and what is in motion behind the scenes is something that, if she had walked out of that hospital alive, she would be telling us herself right now. But she did not walk out. And so that ground floor truth is buried with her, unless we go and dig it up. That is what I have been doing every single night since this story broke. Digging, while the rest of them were chasing the easy lane. Now hear me very carefully on this next part, because this is the detail that tells you the entire story. Ashley was found unconscious. She was alive. She had a pulse. She was rushed to a hospital in a country thousands and thousands of miles away from her parents. And for 11 hours, a woman, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a fiancé, a businesswoman, a human being, fought for her life in a hospital bed in a country where her parents could not get to her. 11 hours. Say it slow. 11 hours. That is not a moment. That is not a window. That is a full work shift. That is the time it takes to fly halfway across the planet. That is enough time to call every embassy contact in 2 hemispheres. That is enough time to put a friend on a plane. That is enough time to FaceTime a mother every 15 minutes and let her hear her daughter's heartbeat through a phone speaker. Now ask yourself a question. Ask yourself the only question that actually matters in this case. In those 11 hours, what was the man who put a ring on her finger 4 days earlier doing? Where was the call to her mother every 15 minutes? Where was the live photo from the hospital corridor? Where was the doctor's first name? Where was the nurse's last name? Where was the embassy contact? Where was the friend on a plane? Where was the brother flown in on a private jet? Where was anything? Anything at all that an actual fiancé would do? I am going to tell you where it was. It was not there. None of it. There is a black hole at the center of this case that is 11 hours wide, and the people drafting the press releases are paving over it with paragraphs they hope will sound human enough to fool you. They will not fool me. And after this video, they will not fool you either. Now we get to the line. The single line in those press exclusives that, the moment I read it, made me sit straight up at my desk, push my coffee away, and start a new document, because I have read enough lawyer bill statements in my career to know one when it walks past me in a wig. Listen carefully. I want you to read this line with me, slowly, the way a defense attorney would read it back to a jury. Quote, "She texted him asking what happened, shortly after Ashley passed away, and despite being completely crushed by her loss, he responded promptly and appropriately." End quote. Read it again in your head. Now read it a third time. And tell me if anything about that sentence sounds like it came out of the mouth of a man who just lost the love of his life for days after putting a ring on her finger. Let me decode it for you, because most people skim past lines like this and never realize they were just sat down in front of a piece of legal evidence, dressed up as a quote. Texted him asking what happened. Notice that. The mother, the grieving mother, is the one asking, not the fiancé volunteering. That single grammatical decision tells you who the document is being built to protect. Shortly after Ashley passed away. Vague timeline. Intentionally vague. A real fiancé would tell you the minute, the hour, the light coming through the window. They would tell you what they were eating, where they were standing, what shoe was on which foot. They would not say, shortly after. That is the language of someone trying to leave room. Room for what? Room for whatever comes out in discovery later, despite being completely crushed by her loss. That is a preemptive empathy shield. That is a phrase you write when you know that sometime in the next 3 to 6 months, somebody is going to subpoena your messages, and you want a paragraph already in the public record that says, "Look how torn up he was. Responded promptly." Defensive timeline framing. And appropriately. There it is. The kill shot. The single word that gives away the entire game. Appropriately. That is not how a grieving man describes his own text reply. No fiancé in the history of the English language has ever, in a moment of raw loss, used the word appropriately to describe his own grief. Appropriately is a word lawyers use. Appropriately is the word you put in a sworn deposition. Appropriately is the word you put in a wrongful death answer. Appropriately is the word you write when you are already, quietly, planning your defense. The man you are reading is not the man speaking. The man you are reading is the lawyer speaking through the man. And once you see that, you cannot unsee it. Every paragraph attributed to him, in every one of those 4 exclusives, has the same fingerprint, the same rhythm, the same load-bearing word choices. It is, top to bottom, courtroom prep dressed up as press copy. So now we have the lawyer, quietly authoring grief. But there is a second figure in that war room, and this one is even more dangerous, because this one knows how to make the public feel things on command. The publicist. Whoever this person is, I have to be honest with you, they are talented. I have watched a lot of crisis communications in my career, and what is being executed on this case is not amateur hour. This is veteran work. The Twitter letter timed perfectly to the funeral. Dropped at the exact emotional peak of the public's sympathy for Ashley's family. Designed to slice that sympathy in half and bleed some of it back toward him. The phantom sources, the unnamed friends, the carefully repeated emotional beats. The pivot on day 4, away from defending him and onto attacking her mother. Every move in the playbook. Every move I have seen run on every other A-list scandal of the last 10 years. Let me show you the choreography. Day 1 of the press blitz. The frame is established. He is positioned not as a suspect, not as a person of interest, not as the man with the 11-hour silence, but as a wounded outsider, a man barred from a funeral, a man being kept from his closure. Watch what that does to the average reader. The average reader, who has not been studying this case the way we have, sees a man kept from a funeral and feels a small drop of pity. That drop of pity is the first crack in the wall. Day 2. They double down. They publish a Twitter letter on the day of the funeral. Read that sentence again. They publish a Twitter letter on the day of the funeral, while Ashley's casket is in the room. While her mother is choosing whether to look at her daughter's face one more time. While her father is trying to keep his knees from buckling. They drop the letter. The timing is not an accident. The timing is the message. They want their words to ride on top of that grief like a parasite. Day 3. Now the racism angle. Now the threats angle. Now the brave victim angle. Watch what that does. It takes that initial drop of pity and turns it into a full pour. Day 4. Pivot. Attack the mother. Fracture the public's sympathy for the family itself. Because as long as the family has the public, he has nothing. As long as the public is on Yolanda's side. Every single thing his team prints lands in front of an audience that is already skeptical. Break that sympathy and you break the case. I am telling you on the record, I have seen this exact playbook before. I have seen it run on athletes. I have seen it run on rappers. I have seen it run on actors. I have seen it run on tech executives who got caught with their hand somewhere it should not have been. The choreography never changes. Only the names change. And when you have watched it as many times as I have, you do not need a confession to know that a war room exists. The war room reveals itself in the rhythm of the leaks. Now let me get to the part that almost nobody is talking about loud enough. And I want you to lock in for this because this is the engine. This is the part of the machine that nobody on YouTube has connected for you yet. Why is the war room running at this scale? Why are the lawyers and publicists and exclusives moving in this kind of formation? It is not love. It is not grief. It is not even reputation. Listen to me. It is money. Specifically, it is crypto money and hedge fund money. Because here is the thing the average viewer does not understand about that world. The man at the center of this storm operates inside an investment ecosystem, and an investment ecosystem has one universal allergy. It is allergic to scandal. The moment a money world figure becomes radioactive, the wires stop, the funds dry up, the partners pull back, the boards ask for resignations, the LP letters start to circulate, the cap table goes quiet. Crypto investors, especially, do not stick around for ambiguity. They're gone before the press release hits. So if his reputation collapses publicly, his entire financial ecosystem collapses underneath him. That is what is being defended in those 4 exclusives. Not his name, his net worth, not his memory of Ashley, his access to capital, not his grief, his grip on every wire that keeps his portfolio breathing. It is survival economics. And once you see that, every press release in this case rereads itself in front of you. Every word becomes a wire transfer fighting to stay alive. Now hold that thought, because we have to talk about Tanzania. Because the second engine of this cover-up is the one running on another continent entirely. The first ruling out of Tanzania, very early on, was that this was self-inflicted. Quick, clean, quiet. The kind of ruling that lets a man fly home, get his passport back, and disappear into a yacht photo by the next quarter. That is the original frame. And I want you to imagine the war room in that moment. They are exhaling. They are calling investors. They're getting on calls saying it is going to be fine. The storm has passed. Our exposure is contained. And then, the internet refused. Content creators refused. Journalists refused. Retired detectives on small channels with small followings and very large brains refused. Lawyers in their cars on lunch breaks did live streams refusing. Aunties on Facebook refused. Cousins on TikTok refused. Strangers from 3 different time zones refused. And what was supposed to be a quiet exit became a full international pressure campaign. And under that pressure, Tanzania cracked open the file again. Up to 10 unnamed people questioned. The passport seized. The hotel under review. The autopsy expanded. The case reopened. Now ask yourself, when do investigators behave like that? Investigators behave like that when they have already seen something on the inside of that file that they cannot unsee. Investigators do not seize a passport for fun. Investigators do not question 10 people for fun. Investigators do not reopen and expand a file because Twitter is mad. Investigators reopen and expand a file because the original frame did not match the evidence in front of them. That is the only reason. So when somebody tells you nothing is happening over there, somebody is lying to you. Something is happening. Something big. And the war room in this country knows it. That is why the press blitz got louder, not quieter. They are racing the international evidence. They're trying to win the public narrative before the official record catches up. Now, let's get to the media part, because this is where the entire profession of entertainment journalism is on trial in front of all of us, whether they realize it or not. We have to talk about the alleged role of one specific outlet. I am not going to scream a name 20 times in a row, because I do not have to. You know which outlet I am talking about. For exclusives in 4 days, each one perfectly framed, each one missing the same load-bearing facts, each one printed without naming a source until people on YouTube called them out by name, and then the very next day, suddenly with sources. That is not journalism. That is not even bad journalism. That is a service contract. That is a deliverable. That is allegedly what it looks like when a media giant gets walked into a death investigation by a publicist with a checkbook. And if any of that is true, even partially, even at the edges, this is not a gossip scandal. This is a media ethics earthquake. This is a story that in 5 years will be in the textbook on how not to operate a newsroom. I want to be very fair here. That outlet has broken legitimate stories for 2 decades. People I respect have worked there. Some of them still do. But power without accountability rots. And the receipts on this case are mounting in a way that even their most loyal defenders are starting to flinch at. For exclusives, all aligned in the same direction. A complete absence of named sources until publicly shamed into providing them. A consistent erasure of the most damning facts in the case, including, and this is the one that should make every honest journalist's skin crawl, the fact that the hospital, not the fiancé, called the parents to deliver the news that Ashley was gone. The hospital, not him. That single fact, alone, is louder than every press release combined. And it has been, conveniently, missing from every single one of those exclusives. That is not an oversight. That is a choice. Let me sit with that one detail for a second, because I have not been able to shake it. Picture it with me. 11 hours of fighting. The doctors do everything they can do. The machines beep. The hallway is too bright. Somewhere in another country, in another time zone, on a different continent, a mother is sitting by a phone, gripping it so hard her knuckles are white. She is not eating. She is not drinking. She is breathing in shifts. She is begging God in a language she invented just for that night. And the call comes in, and the voice on the other end is not the voice of the man who put a ring on her daughter's finger 4 days earlier. The voice on the other end is a stranger, a medical voice, a foreign accent, a clinical, professional, gentle voice. The voice of a hospital staffer doing the job no human should ever have to do. Not him, not the fiancé, not the man who was supposed to FaceTime every 15 minutes. The hospital. That detail by itself on its own, with no other context, would end most engagements alive. It would certainly end most marriages alive. So you can imagine what it does in death. And yet, somehow, every press release in the public record is pretending that detail does not exist. They're not just spinning the story. They are vacuuming up the most painful, most clarifying, most truth-bearing detail in the entire case and dumping it in a silent landfill before you ever get to see it. That is the operation. That is the war room at work. That is what $20,000 a month in PR looks like in real life. Now, the family. The smear army has been busy. I know you have seen them in the comment sections. I have seen them too. Faceless avatars, brand new accounts, same talking points, almost word for word, on different platforms at the same hours of the day. That is not organic. That is a campaign. There is a corner of the internet. You know, exactly which corner. That decided before a single fact was verified that the parents were the problem, that the mother was cold, that the father was distant, that the family was, somehow, the cause of what happened. I want to walk you into a room those people will never walk into. Because I sat in that room. I bought a ticket. I flew there. I dressed for the day. I sat on the right side of the church, about 3/4 of the way back. And when the pastor stood up and asked for the family to enter, what I watched was a flood. It was not a row. It was not 3 rows. It was row after row after row of people in white. Aunts, uncles, cousins, cousins of cousins, childhood best friends who became sisters, college roommates, business partners, mentors, mentees, children Ashley had touched, adults Ashley had moved, a river of love, a wall of devotion, a church that was not a church that day. It was a fortress. It was a declaration. And later, when the pastor asked everyone except family to please be seated, more people stayed seated than stood up. Read that twice. More people stayed seated than stood up. The majority of the room was blood. That is the family the SME army is calling cold. That is the mother the war room is trying to fracture. That is the household the publicist is trying to paint as distant. And it is, on its face, a lie. I watched it with my own eyes. I will say it from now until my last breath. That family loves that woman. That family carried that woman in. That family is going to carry her name forward. And nothing a paid press release can publish will ever change what that church looked like that day. Now I want to make some predictions on the record because I want you to hold me to them. I want my name on this list. Bookmark this section. Come back in 30 days. Come back in 60. Come back in 90. And we will tally the score together, in public, in the comments, where everyone can see who told you the truth before it happened. Prediction 1. Within the next 2 to 4 weeks, private text messages will be leaked, presented as exclusive, framed in a way that makes the family look fractured, conflicted, or somehow complicit. Watch for the timing. It will land on a slow news day, or, more likely, on a day that competes with another major news cycle so it can blunt the pushback. Prediction 2. A close friend of Ashley, or a former associate, or a longtime confidant, or some equally vague label, will surface in the press, speaking favorably of him, retroactively warming his image, distancing the family from her recent decisions. Look for the publication. Look for the byline. Look for the language. It will read, again, like a lawyer wrote it. Prediction 3. He will eventually sit for an emotional, on-camera, exclusive interview. It will be soft. It will be carefully lit. There will be a tea at the right moment. There will be a long pause where he stays at the ceiling. There will be a callback, twice at least, to the ring. The interview will only happen once his lawyer has fully scoped his criminal exposure. Until that scoping is complete, the interview will not happen. So when the interview drops, you will know, by the simple fact that it dropped, that his team believes the legal coast is clear enough. Prediction 4. The Tanzanian investigation will produce findings that contradict the original quick ruling. I am not telling you what those findings will say. I am telling you they will not match the early frame. They will not match it. They cannot match it. The behavior of the investigators is not the behavior of authorities who believe the original ruling. They have already moved past it. The public statement will eventually catch up. Prediction 5. Harry and Yolanda will, at a moment of their own choosing, on terms of their own design, break their silence. And when they do, it will not be a press release. It will not be a Twitter letter. It will not be a paid exclusive. It will be, in every way the war room is not human. And on that day, every single content creator who jumped on the smear bandwagon early will quietly delete videos, scrub comments, and pretend they were on the right side the whole time. I am keeping the receipts. So are millions of you. We will not let them rewrite their own histories any more than we will let them rewrite Ashley's. I want to leave you with one more thing tonight. Because all of this, every detail, every lawyer's word, every publicist's beat, every wire of money, every continent, every press release, every choreographed exclusive, every SME in the comment section, every silent 11-hour crater at the center of this entire case, all of it, every piece, comes back to one woman who is not here to defend herself. Ashley Jana. She is the only reason any of us are doing any of this. Not the clicks, not the views, not the algorithm. A young woman who loved her family. A young woman who built things with her own hands. A young woman who flew to paradise believing her life was about to begin a new chapter. A young woman who was, for days after the diamond hit her finger, fighting alone in a hospital bed in a country whose language she did not speak. A young woman whose last 11 hours on this earth were not held by the people who claimed to love her most. A young woman whose final phone call to her mother was made by a stranger. That is who we are fighting for. Not a hashtag. Not a moment. So here's what I am asking. I am asking you to refuse. Refuse the easy narrative. Refuse the lazy comment section. Refuse the choreographed exclusive. Refuse the talking points that show up at the same hour from accounts that did not exist last month. Refuse the smear of her parents. Refuse the spin on the 11 hours. Refuse to forget the hospital phone call. Refuse to let appropriately become the word that buries this case. Refuse to let the war room win. If you have made it this far, I see you. I felt you in the room while I was writing this. I want you to do 3 things tonight, and 3 things only. 1. Say her name out loud. By yourself. Somewhere quiet. just to remind the universe that we are not letting it go. Ashley Jana. 2. Watch the language in every article that drops over the next 2 weeks. Highlight the lawyer-built sentences. Highlight the publicist-built phrases. Send them to me. Tag them in the comments. We are going to build, together, a public archive of every paid sentence in this entire campaign, in real time, for the world to see. 3. When the leaks come, and they are coming, do not flinch. Do not panic. Do not rage react. Pull this video back up. Re-watch this section. Cross-check the prediction list. And remind yourself that the only thing standing between this case and a clean, choreographed exit is people like you, refusing to look away. I am not going anywhere. I will be on this case tomorrow. I will be on it next week. I will be on it next month. I will be on it the day every press release stops. I will be on it the day every exclusive runs out. I will be on it the day the cameras leave. I will be on it the day the name stops trending. Because the war room is counting on attention fatigue. They are counting on you forgetting. They are counting on the algorithm moving on. They are counting on the next celebrity scandal swallowing this one whole. And the only way they win is if we let them. So we are not going to let them. Not on my watch. Not on yours. Not on hers. Ashley Jana. Say it again. Ashley Jana. One more time. Ashley Jana. Tattoo that name in your timeline. Pin her in your memory. Refuse the cover-up. Refuse the choreography. Refuse the silence. Refuse the spin. And come back tomorrow, because we are nowhere near done. The receipts are still coming. The leaks are still coming. The press releases are still coming. The investigation is still moving. And every single move from here on out, I'm going to walk you through, line by line, sentence by sentence, word by word, until the truth is louder than the press release, until the family is louder than the SME, until her name is louder than his lawyer. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tag a friend who needs to see this before the next exclusive drops. Save this video, send it to your group chat, and when the next leak hits, when the next close friend magically appears, when the next staged exclusive breaks, when the next attempt to fracture the family lands in your timeline, you remember exactly where you heard it first. You remember who walked you through the architecture before the architecture became obvious. You remember who refused. And you remember her. Always her. First, last, every time. Ashley Jana. We are not letting them have her ending. We are taking it back. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We're not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press releases. Stop pretending it is not there. Pause. Breathe. Stay with me. I am not finished. Read that line one more time. The receipts are right there if you know where to look. Nothing about this is accidental. I have watched this exact pattern unfold before. The timeline is the tell. Mark this paragraph in your memory. We are not letting this fade. Her name still trends every single day. That detail alone should reframe the entire case for you. Sit with it. Do not skim past it. The architecture is screaming if you stop and listen. I will keep saying it until the press